I want to do well in my classes, but I'm not sure what to expect. Will there be PowerPoints with notes, or will I be taking notes?
Yes, you should absolutely take notes in all of your classes. It's too hard to remember all the information that you're learning in your classes. And a lot of your professors may give you PowerPoint notes. However, you should still add to those PowerPoint slides just so you have the correct information. Now, I'm going to give you some suggestions of things that you can do when you're at home and you're studying your notes. So the first thing you can do is to come up with questions, and then you can put those questions in the margins or on a separate sheet of paper. So most likely, your college tests aren't going to ask you simple memorization questions like what is the capital of Iowa? So there are 4 types of questions: data, concept, hypothesis, and judgment. Data questions point to facts and usually start with words such as what, where, and whom. Concept questions usually ask for understanding and usually start with words such as describe, discuss, compare, and contrast. So for example, compare and contrast the 1st and 16th presidents. Hypothesis questions call for you to predict information and speculate change, and usually start with words such as suppose or what if. So for example, what would happen if we got rid of the Electoral College? And finally, judgment questions call for judgment and usually start with words such as why, rank, or preference. The second thing you can do is to highlight the answers to those questions. And then the third thing you can do is to think of a summary question that would capture that day's lecture. This is an active strategy to understand and remember all the information from your notes. It's not passive like rereading, rereading, and rereading again. I have my students create something called a note page. It's their way of thinking about the material. Here are some things that you can put on your note page that you might find helpful. One thing you can do is to summarize the information and put it on your note page. Another thing you can do is have a glossary of terms. Some students put questions that we just talked about on their note page. And another thing that a lot of students find helpful is doing a graphic representation. A flowchart, a timeline. Doing a graphic representation lets you visually see the text in a fresh and new way.